Hello and welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe as soon as you get into it. And hope you guys are doing well. I thought I'd do a live stream for the game because previews are sometimes very hard to time. So that's why you see me sort of live stream more of the previews than I have pre-recorded them. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Obviously, we've got a bit to talk about. Uh, and I'm going to start with the Moyes press conference. We'll start with the Moyes press conference. It is Moyes' last West Ham home game. And, he's going to get a send-off. He's going to get a send-off, rightly so. And rightly so, this is going to be put to an end very soon in 2 games. However, we have got a game tomorrow. I do forget that sometimes. Sometimes I'd like to forget that because I don't particularly want to watch us at all. But anyway, let's read the press conference. First question is on the team news. And Moyes has said that Paquetá seems okay and has trained for most of the week. To be honest, I don't think the team news actually matters because we're not having anything to play for apart from, 9th place? But unfortunately, we don't have Mavropanos or Nea Faged. I'm not particularly complaining about not seeing Aged under David Moyes. Moyes is asked about his final home game in charge. I was hoping we'd be fighting for Europe, but we're still battling, and I hope we can win. And a top 10 finish, yeah, fucking fantastic ambition. We want to bounce back after last week, and that's the main thing for me. Yeah, bounce back, the typical, probably one of the most boring sayings in football. I have to say, it's probably the most boring saying in football. The boss is asked about his departure. I'm really comfortable with the situation, he says. I've talked about it with my family, and I think it's the right decision for all parties. I do wonder where he's going to go next because I don't see him in a Prem. I don't see him in a Championship. I don't see him going any lower. He wouldn't want to, but in the Championship, would they want to hire someone that's more experienced in the Premier League, or would they want to hire young progressive managers? You see that as a theme in the Championship and in the Premier League. Apart from going back to Everton, if they weren't particularly happy with Sean Dyche for whatever reason, which I can't see Sean Dyche leaving Everton anytime soon. I think he's actually an all right fit, but I can understand why Everton fans would want something different as well. I can't see another Premier League team going in for him, which is exactly what Goldstein, Ben Foster, and Darren Bent said, even though they told us to get a reality check. So they are hypocrites, of course. But going back to the press conference, he said, we'll go our separate ways after this really successful period. I agree. Successful period, I do agree with that. Just past 2 seasons, don't think it's been that great, apart from, obviously the trophy. First, I'll have a break. Last year wasn't much of a break after the Europa Conference League final. I strive to work my hardest, and I've done that here. So I'm going to have a break. I'm going to work during the Euros, and I'll continue to look forward to working in football. I would like to see him as a pundit on Sky, to maybe express his personality a lot more. Unfortunately, he's going on Talksport for the Euros, and I'm sure they're gonna suck him off verbally. Of course, I don't know whether they're gonna literally show that on camera if they were to literally suck him off, because I don't think that'd be quite PG enough for Talksport. But with the pundits that are there, with Darren Bent, Andy Goldstein, Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy, who's the Scottish prick, Jim White, and the posh prick Simon Jordan. I mean, they've all got an agenda against every club, and they've had it in for West Ham for years, as they have with every other club. It's not just West Ham that they do this to. So expect them to suck off David Moyes. And I'm sure, Scotland are in the Euro, so I'm sure we're going to see him in games for that. I don't watch Talksport, so I'm not going to be listening to David Moyes. I actually don't mind him as a person, to be honest with you, but and good luck to him on his whatever he wants to do in his career. But I don't care. The next question is about his time at West Ham. Stopping the club getting relegated the second time was difficult, and the progress we've made since then has been brilliant. I don't know about that. Positionally wise and on paper, I agree, but overall, it still pretty much felt like we're just winning in moments rather than any form of consistency to know what our identity is. I still think we have an identity crisis. I know Antonio mentioned that on the Filthy Fellas podcast. on his interview last year when he was talking about trying to change the style of football to play through teams as a big six team, but it didn't work because of, well, he didn't say this, but it's because of the coaches that we have. I think we've done a really good job. We built the club and a stability there now. I'd like to think so, yeah. Moyes is asked about other managers' comments about him. I've managed a lot of games in the Premier League, so that's something to be proud of. It means people have thought you're good enough to be in a job. Hope now I can give back to other managers. I'm keen on coaching younger managers and I'm excited for the future. I don't know what role that could be when you're coaching younger managers. I don't know whether that's a role in anything or maybe he's just got connections with people to see if he can give other people advice. The boss is asked about Luton. Rob Edwards has done a brilliant job. To be a young manager and navigate the Premier League is really tough. He's got his team within a chance to survive, and it's up to us to take that from them. I think Luton will win tomorrow, but I think it'll be one of them high-scoring games. And the reason why I say that is because both teams cannot defend. Both teams cannot defend. They cannot defend. That's why they're there. But they play an attacking style of football because it suits their players. And I don't know whether Adebayo is still fully fit because he only just came back from injury not that long ago, but he did score against Everton. And Carlton Morris will give Zuma and Ogbonna hell. He's gonna give them hell. And we can dream of having youngsters in this team, but we always know that in these last two games you'll be lucky to see one youngster. The next question is about what he expects from his players. I've told them what I expect, and they are well aware. We are all looking forward to the game, and hopefully we can sign off the season at home in the right way. Yeah, I doubt it. And that was all he said. Obviously, a very boring press conference. Surprised there wasn't more questions about his departure, but maybe that club website have cut that out. I'm not too sure. But the second thing we're going to get onto, let me just get the thing up and make sure to smash a like whilst you're in here, is we're going to get onto the new manager. And obviously, I was completely wrong about all of this. I was completely wrong about Lopetegui signing, and I was completely wrong about Steiner approving it. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and I'm gonna have to get behind him, unfortunately. But I'm not particularly sure how this is gonna go. But there seems to be some good news. But again, when I mean good news, I mean take it with a pinch of salt. Where is it? Where's the article that I saw? Because at least we're seeing some form of news, at least. And I'll talk about this on another stream. But if we don't get a rebuild, this could be long. It could be very long. It could be very long for us. Okay, big up my guy on Twitter, East London Hammers. Let me just share his tweet. It appears that the new manager, Julian Lopetegui, has signed all the paperwork and has already begun working with Tim Steidten to identify new recruits, with a couple of deals already being worked on. And that's from the West Ham way, ex-West Ham employee. As we know, ex-West Ham employee is the most reliable person we can have, probably as a West Ham fan. And when it comes to having any sort of news outlet, and when it comes to like transfer news and anything to do with West Ham, and what is really interesting about this, guys, is the fact that when do we ever do business early, really? Like the 2022 transfer window was fun because we seem to be getting quite a few players. Obviously, a lot of these players aren't here now. So if you look at Skamaka's in a Europa League final now. Kera is not here with us. Flynn Downs is out on loan. Paquetá's leaving in the summer. Ariola's still here. Emerson's still here. Both of them had great seasons and both of them have been successful signings. Nea Faged is pretty much in limbo at this moment. We'll see if he suits Lopetegui more. I've seen the fact that there was rumours about Lopetegui maybe wanted to sign again when he was at Sevilla. And I do remember at the time when we were in for him that Sevilla were interested. So I do remember that being a thing. It was Sevilla and there was rumours of Newcastle. I'm not too sure. And Maxwell Cornet, we just about remember the fact that he exists and he still won't get minutes, even though there's nothing to play for now. Even though Moyes has talked about top 10 finish, it's not exactly ambition, is it? I feel like once you move to the London Stadium, top 10 should be your bare minimum. And I feel like if Aston Villa and Newcastle were to finish 11th or to finish even 10th, they would regard that as a bad season. So I don't know why we as West Ham fans should be like, oh, we're West Ham, we shouldn't have those standards. But then what was the point of moving stadium? Because if we had just stayed at Upton Park, I wouldn't have any standards. I would just be like, okay, get me a win, hopefully, and that's it. But that's what people seem to misconstrue is the fact that I didn't ask for any standards because I thought it was unrealistic at the time. But I think all of us were sold a dream when moving to the stadium, and I think we'll continue to be sold a dream, unfortunately. But at least we've got a sporting director that actually knows what he's doing, and at least with the manager that is coming in, okay, fair enough. There's rumours that he also might be playing good football as well. I think a lot of fans also have a certain expectation when it comes to this manager, just because of not only the pedigree that he has, but also with the fact that he has played good football in the past. Now with Wolves, there's a bit of a balance with the fact that he had to keep them up, but he also did try and play somewhat on the front foot. My only problem is that, for example, with I don't want to see links to Siri, and the reason why I don't think we're going to get Siri, and listen, I've got it wrong before I could get it wrong again, and when I get it wrong, I'll actually admit that I'm wrong, unlike some people, but I don't think we'll be linked with Siri. I don't think there'll be any strong bids for Siri. And if there is, then I know exactly what this club is doing, and that's just being mediocre as usual. Am I personally excited? Not really. I'm not really excited. I'm kind of deflated when it comes to this club after this appointment. This appointment doesn't inspire me. What does inspire me is the fact that we're getting deals done, but we'll see who those people are. I think to miss out on the fact that Lloyd Kelly and Tosin Adebayo are homegrown players that are on a free, and we need centre backs. The fact that we're missing out on both of them, well, the fact that we're not in for any of them, we haven't been strongly linked to either of them. Um, it does worry me a bit. It does worry me a bit, but just because of the fact that those are easy opportunities, we need to revamp the whole squad, and centre back is a big part of that. With the likes of Kurt Zuma, he runs in quicksand now. Ogbona's old, Mavropanos is here and there, and if again is not good enough really, unless I guess you're playing higher up the pitch. We'll see if we play higher up the pitch to get the best out of Neif again. But with someone like Lloyd Kelly, he's decent on the ball, can play centre back and left back. Tosin Adebayo, decent on the ball as well. Maybe tries to take too long on the ball. But honestly, that wouldn't be a bad option at all, and we'd actually be better on the ball. But I'm seeing a lot of prop now for Julian Lopetegui, and a lot of these people did not want him, so that very much confuses me as well. But at least with Tim Steidten, when he's getting deals done, we're trying to get deals done. We're in for a lot of Brazilians from these reports, but God knows if these reports are all true. I highly doubt that these reports are like every report that people see. It's long, man. It's long. And do you know what I've seen with recently? Let me get this one up. And this has nothing to do with West Ham, but this is something that West Ham could maybe take advantage of. And maybe under Moyes, it probably would have been taken more on advantage of because of certain players that we've been linked with. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. This to do with Wolves. Wolves manager Gary O'Neill. I don't think there will be money available to us without selling a player. Big up Blank in the chat as always. The club is expecting in the foreseeable future to fund itself, but these things can change. I wouldn't expect it to be a summer where we spend lots of millions. Now, I don't think Wolves are in danger of getting relegated if they don't spend enough money or anything. But what I do think is the fact that even though it's Wolves to West Ham, it's a bit of a sideways step, especially with us not in Europe next season. It's the fact that could we take advantage trying to bid for one of their players? Now, someone like a Pedro Neto is way too unrealistic. But would we still be interested in Max Kilman? I don't know. I think someone like a Max Kilman, because he's English and he's a centre back, I reckon he'll go. I've seen Chelsea linked with him. But again, we don't know if those are actual strong links or whether they're just people running out of news to write. But there's Cunha's there. I doubt they want to sell Cunha, Huang, and Neto. But who are they going to sell? João Gomez and Lamina have had good seasons for them. But why would Lamina want to go if he's had a good season? I reckon the person that they're going to sell is Ryan Aït-Nouri. That's the only one I can think of, just because he's linked with a move away. And he's probably the most sellable right now. Just the only reason why I want to say Pedro Neto is purely because of his injuries. And I think that's going to deteriorate where his move will be. Exactly. Will they sell their key players? That's the conundrum they're in now. Because they want to sell players to refund and to revamp their squad. But can they even sell? I don't even know myself. Like, if there was a Wolves player that would realistically come to us, I have no idea. because it's a sideward step. I don't think it's a market that West Ham can take advantage of. It's not going to be the goalkeeper either, because that means they would have to get another goalkeeper. What's the point of selling a goalkeeper to raise funds to then buy another goalkeeper? So it's probably not going to be Jose Sarr. I wouldn't want Jose Sarr anywhere near this club anyway. Nelson Semedo, he's had an all right season, but he's not really valuable on the market. I'm trying to think of their squad now. Craig Dawson's just moved there last year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But going back to West Ham, obviously we've got a game tomorrow. Does anyone give a shit about the game tomorrow? Not really. Apart from, I think people more care about giving Moyes a decent send-off. But this is the problem, guys. I need to see this club back their talk. I need to see their club back their talk. It's all good having reports, and listen, it's very reliable. It's ex-West Ham employee that's the one that's reporting this stuff about Tim Steiner trying to get some deals done. But I need to see this club act, because if you guys remember last year, a day after we won the Conference League, I saw us linked to Harvey Barnes, and I was gassed. But we didn't get him. And that came back to haunt us. Of course it did. But that's the thing. I need to see action. I don't want talk. I've just seen news now. West Ham are reluctant to lose the versatile performer, Ben Johnson, and have made a last-ditch contract offer to keep a hold of him. Johnson is said to snub their latest offer and will consider his options as a free agent in the summer market. And that's by Fraser Fletcher, who I think is quite reliable from what I see. What's your prediction for the game? I reckon it'll be like something ridiculous, like 4-2 Luton or something, because Luton can score goals. We're capable of scoring just because of the attackers that we have, and they have a lack of any sort of defensive IQ. They don't defend well. But we don't defend. And they have something to play for, we don't. And if we've conceded 5 to Palace, conceded 5 to Fulham, 5 to Chelsea. Was it? I can't even remember if it was 5 or 6-0 to Chelsea, but who cares? This is the thing as well. Like, this is what really annoyed me. Yesterday, I saw people falling for a report from the Sun, and that's what really pissed me off. Is the fact that people just look at any sort of source and be like, "Okay, that seems that's something to get angry about," because the Sun have always been fucking good at reporting football news, haven't they? Which is what I don't get. But with Lopetegui coming in, I said this before, I don't think he's a shit manager. But what I do think is it's very underwhelming going from another old man to another old man. But I don't think David Sullivan is going to hire anyone that doesn't have a free bus pass. 2-0 Luton, fair enough. Did they announce the replacement manager? I don't think they're going to announce it now, just in respect of David Moyes, but I think they're going to announce it maybe a week or two after the Man City game, and that's my guess. But Lopetegui signed the contract, but they're not going to probably announce it yet. And they're already working behind the scenes. The best part about this is that if they're still working behind the scenes now, and we've got quite a bit of money to play with, just because we haven't spent that much money, really. But yeah, I hope Johnson signs. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Ben Johnson, so I don't really care about losing him. I just care about the fact that we've lost him on a free. For me, the fact that you got an academy kid, I don't think he's good enough. But what I do think is that if you're not got a plan for him, sell him for money, rather than actually selling him for nothing or letting him go for nothing. A man he's probably going to go to either Crystal Palace or Rangers, or those are the clubs he's been linked with. And if Ben Johnson was that good, he'd be having an upgrade, but he's not that good. Honestly, it's not honestly not the worst thing in the world that Ben Johnson's going. It's just the fact that he's going on a free. But I don't want to see Aaron Cresswell get a new contract. I don't want to see Ogbonna get a new contract if we're serious. Ogbonna should retire if he's serious. And I don't want to see Lucas Fabianski really. Actually, I think we could. I don't mind the Fabianski one just because I don't want to spend the money on a backup goalie. So if he gets a year extension, that's the least of my worries. And the fact that he's not going to play that much next season anyway, because we're not in a European competition. We're in an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup, And what I'm hoping next season is that with Lopetegui is that he's a manager that's worked at Sevilla, so hopefully he brings the mentality to West Ham where he's going to have a mentality to go somewhere in the cups. Actually go on cup runs. Not losing to Bristol City and all that. Not like Pellegrini losing to Oxford and Wimbledon. Not like Allardyce where he just wanted to throw the cups away. Not like Bilic. Uh, in fact, Bilic went for an FA Cup run in the 15-16 season. After that, didn't give a shit about the cup, really. I think we got battered by Man City in the FA Cup the year after in 16-17. I think it was at that game. And 17-18 season, I think he might have been sacked by the time we got into the FA Cup. It was actually Moyes that got knocked out by Wigan. Yeah, we lost to Wigan as well. Of course we did. Of course we did. It's typical us. It's typical us to lose to all these teams. I saw the tweet today about it was like however long ago it was today when we last won our FA Cup, 1980. So that would have been 44 years ago. And I just want to see a cup run in my lifetime, a FA Cup run especially. But that's the problem, is that we don't go for cup runs. And I'm just, by the way, this Mac is heating up because it's sunny outside, and I'm doing a live stream. But so if it lags, it's not my fault. It's not my fault at all. But also, one of the most pathetic signings that West Ham have ever made. Also, let me show you again. I'm going to share my screen with you lot. Big up to Ben Dinnery. I don't know who he is, but big him up. Calvin Phillips has picked up a calf injury, ending any hopes of making the Euros. Not that he was going to anyway, but then again, it's Gareth Southgate, so you never know. The Manchester City loanee has made only 3 league starts, 8 appearances for the Hammers since arriving in January. I'm trying to think the 3 league starts. What was the 3 league starts? Was it Forest, Bournemouth, and I don't remember the other game. For the Hammers since arriving in January, totaling 307 minutes. He has returned to his parent club. And good riddance. And he's probably... Who's he going to sign for now? Because that's an easy sell for Manchester City. They make profit every year. But that's quite an easy sell for Manchester City in itself. I don't think they're going to get much money for him. They're definitely not going to get their money back. The only thing that carries him is the fact that he has been an England international. But after seeing the fact that England are in the Euros already, and that he's not in the squad, I reckon his stock might go a little bit down. Obviously, thankfully, we're not going to sign him, and thankfully, he won't want to come back to us. And to be honest, if he probably will stay in the Premier League, and he'll probably get booed when whoever we face that's in the Premier League. If Leeds go back in the Premier League, it might be Leeds. It might be Leeds go back in for Calvin Phillips. I could see that happening, but then again, a bit like when Calvin Phillips was linked to us, maybe Leeds fans are quite annoyed that people are linking him to Leeds. What I don't get is obviously the idiocy in the media about the constant defensiveness about David Moyes and stuff. It's not like we killed anyone, but God forbid we try and get another manager. God forbid that a guy's running out of contract and we could just do whatever. It's going to get out in the media regardless. This would happen with any other club, but because this guy is a British manager, technically Scottish is still British. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. I wanted to have a bit of fun on this stream, and I'm going to find it now. I'm going to see. I'm going to see if we could do a tier list, another tier list. We'll see if we're going to do another tier list. Just have some fun. David Moyes send off is a Man City game fine for the league. Exactly. That could be about 10-0. That could be about 10-0. But I don't particularly care because I don't want Arsenal to win the league. Okay. Let's see if this is an updated tier list and then. Who the fuck are these people? Jeez, that's a 1920 season. Okay. That is shit. Alright. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen now. We're on tier list. I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know whether this is another language or not. But here's what we're going to do. This is a rebuild. This is all the players. I'm pretty sure this is all the players. This might not be updated, but these are all the players. And we're going to put them in a list of whether they should stay at the club. Definitely stay. I don't even know if that's how you spell definitely. Hold on. Key player. Let me just put key players. All right, for this one, should we even have 3 tiers for this? 5 tiers for this, or should we have 4? Delete row. I'm gonna have 4 on the bench. For this one, for this tier, I'll just have squad player at best championship. I'm gonna name that to sell, please. All right, that is the tier list. Let's start with the players. Ward Prowse. I'm going on the bench. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do could do a job, and I'm gonna do for this one. I'll do. Yeah, I'll just do squad. Yeah, I'll just keep it squad player. Then again, actually, do you know what? Sure, we're gonna do. We'll just delete that row as well. The reason why I'm gonna keep it to 3 rows is because it wouldn't make sense to have could do a job and squad player. I'm gonna put Ward Prowse and could do a job. Zuma needs to go. I think we've seen enough. Zuma's running in quicksand, as I said. Emerson, key player, best left back I've seen at West Ham by far in my lifetime because I didn't get to watch Julian Dix and all that. Maxwell Cornet could do a job. Revive his career, please. Lopetegui, that would be a big green flag. If you want me on your side, you get this guy on your side, man. This guy could do a job. Unless I see something in pre-season or in games where he's not being good enough, please just give him a run of games. And please, Maxwell Cornet, stay at the club. Sufar, please just sell him. I've had enough. I've had enough of watching him. And people are not going to agree with that, but the guy is very one-dimensional and he's very old. And people want to talk about averaging the age of the squad, but they don't want to talk about selling Vladimir Sufar. So we'll keep him away. Saeed Benrahma, you need to go as well. Cannot shoot a ball, to be honest with you. It either goes straight at the keeper or straight over the bar. Doesn't give you a consistent enough season, apart from last season was good, don't get me wrong, but there were still signs in that where he doesn't take on his man individually. I know the manager did hold him back a bit, and I will agree with that. But even under Lopetegui, please just go. Please. That should be some loan money that we should get by the end of the season. Key player Jared Bowen. Do I even need to say a bit more? Like, this guy is the only man that's probably capable of scoring 20 goals at the club, and hopefully Mohamed Kudus will be one of those in the future. But Jared Bowen he's definitely a key player and should only play on the right wing because even though he's played a striker this season, most of the goals that he scored has mostly come off playing off in the inside right forward position. And I think people forget that. All right. Tilo Kehrer. See, the thing is, Tilo Kehrer can do a job, but I think for money purposes, I don't know. All right. Might be unpopular, but maybe as a squad player, maybe he deserves more. He only had 1 full season. What's with Maxwell Cornet? Moyes just doesn't like him. Moyes just has his favourites, unfortunately. Moyes is he got injured against Wolves last season when we at home. It was like the first game from international break, and Moyes changed up the team completely. He played Skamaka, played Kehrer at right back, and he played Cornet. Cornet had 20 minutes. He got injured. The injury wasn't meant to be that bad. He was meant to be out until like January or something, and we thought, oh, what a disaster. Turns out he came back like around April time. And then when he came back around April time, he was getting like 5 minutes at the back end of games. That was what really hurt me. And then he had this season, and he hasn't. he hasn't had a chance. He had one start, scored, didn't get a game. Didn't get a game from that. Now, if again, I would sell. Don't get me wrong. Am I willing to give everyone a new chance under a different manager? Yes, but this guy cannot defend. We'll see if his career gets revived. But for now, I'm putting him there. Edson Alvarez, key player. Edson Alvarez deserves to play under a possession-based manager, and he has great aggression. But the one negative I will say is that he needs to control his aggression a lot more. But what I will like, because a lot of his tackles will go to VAR, and he'll probably get sent off next season. I'll be completely honest with you. So maybe they'll come to a point where we might have to replace him as well. But at the same time, I can see him being someone that sets the tempo in possession, especially if Lopetegui is actually going to play 4-3-3. Give me a sec. Okay. Thomas Souček. I'm sorry, people have some fetish for Thomas Souček, but I can't watch this guy play football for much longer. Do you know when someone scores every 5 or 10 games, and it brings this is why you Souček haters come outside and all this. Shut up, man. Please just shut up. This guy cannot pass 5 yards, and you're a midfielder. You're a midfielder. You can't pass 5 yards. He's a great blocker of the ball. He's a great tackler. But everything in between the box and the other box, he cannot do. And when you're a midfielder, you've got to be better in between both boxes. The lack of mobility is scary. I mean, Fornals is already gone. Coventry is already gone. So, whatever in it. Ben Johnson, I'm happy with him gone. I don't think he's good enough. Paquetá is going to go. So, do I even put him in this, guys? Should I put him in this? Leave a comment. Should I put Paquetá in this? Because he's pretty much going to go to Manchester City. As much as it's not confirmed, it looks like he will go. So let me know, and I'll come back. Mavropanos can do a job. I don't think he's the greatest defender in the world. I think he's actually a better out-and-out defender than I think he's actually a ball-playing defender. On the ball, he takes too long sometimes, but maybe under a different manager, we'll see something different. But I think overall in defence, against Newcastle, when we lost 4-3, he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. All right, no. Cool. I'm not going to put him in. I'm not going to put Paquetá in there. Fabianski can do a job. His second choice goalkeeper. Ogbonna, you need to go. I'm sorry. You've been a great servant for this club, but please just leave. Your legs are fucking gone, bro. And after that back at top of the game, I think everyone needs to see that. Thank you for the Arsenal away performance, but that's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Unless you want to play once every 40 games, you're probably not going to do anything. I'm sorry. Mohamed Kudus is definitely a key player. And Leif again should leave. Yeah, he should leave, man. The guy can't defend. Makes too many mistakes. Makes too many mistakes in defense. He hasn't been good this season. And it's not even it's a few games. It's been the whole season when he's played. He's injured right now, and I'm not exactly missing him, but none of our centre backs are good, apart from Mavropanos. Aaron Cresswell, please just go. Please, for the love of God, just go. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. Please just leave. Please. Antonio can do a job. Not a key player, but he will always be an outlet. He will always be an outlet when we can switch it up, when we can send it long. And we don't have to send it long all the time, but for him to wrap up defenders, there's not many defenders in Europe come up against a player like Mikel Antonio. Unless you've played throughout the leagues like he has, you haven't come up against someone like him. And he shouldn't be a starter week in, week out because his legs will burn out. But we need him for big games. We absolutely need him for big games. The only problem I have is the fact that he'll probably want to start every game. And I get it. He has confidence in himself. And he'll probably, as much as he's said in the past he'd like to retire, he probably won't retire here because of that. 6 goals, I think. Wait, who's got 6 goals? Wait. Antonio this season. I think he scored 6. Yeah, that sounds right. Areola, key player. He's my hammer of the year. The guy's been sensational this season. Yeah, Mikel has got six goals. Yeah. And the thing is, there's not too much below what he usually gets, like 10 goals, maybe. It's more than last season because he was in and out of the team. Um, what was I talking about? Areola, yes, Areola's been sensational. It's one of the best individual goalkeeping seasons I've seen at West Ham. If it wasn't for him, there would have been a 10-0 this season. And I think the commanding of the box, he showed that he can do that as well. Maybe not to the level that Fabianski can, but he's very he's very good at distributing the ball. Just a very good shot stopper, as you should be as a goalkeeper as well. So if there's anyone that we need to keep, it's definitely him. And Danny Ings, no offense, mate, he's not a bad striker, but he was good for an era in the Premier League for a two up front sort of thing. And it's not even the fact that he's dog shit or anything. He never suited David Moyes. And listen, if we keep him under Lopetegui, he somehow revives his career and whatever in it. But he should be someone that we need to be selling, that we need to be looking at selling. And this is just my opinion. I'm not going to put Paquetá in this because he's gone. So if we're looking at next season and we're looking at the tier list here, these are the players I keep. These are the players that, well, these are the key players. These are the What do you mean, Emerson? Did you just say Emerson should go? Are you mad? What do you mean Emerson should go? You've got to be mad, bro. I know you're not a West Ham fan, but Jesus Christ, Emerson should go. Are you trying to troll me? Emerson, Bowen, Alvarez, Kudus, and Areola should be the players that we should try and build around. In my opinion, these are the players that should start. If any of these players are on the bench, I'll be looking at the manager sideways. I can't lie. Lopetegui, that is. Ward-Prowse, Cornet, Kera. Kera's a maybe, so I'll put him here. And Ward-Prowse, Ward-Prowse and Cornet I'll put here because we don't know where Cornet's head's going to be. He might want to leave, but you might also think Moyes is gone. If I was Cornet and I saw Moyes is gone, I'd be fucking celebrating. Mavropanos can do a job, but he's yet to see whether he can be a starting centre back. Fabianski is a second choice goalkeeper. Antonio is still an outlet. But we need a striker. But we need an actual striker, not En-Nesyri. As much as I like Zuma, his legs are gone. Soufal has had some good years at the club, but too one-dimensional. Said Benrahma, not good enough. Again, it's not good enough, but I will give him a chance on the Lopetegui, but I've not seen enough from him for me to put him in, can do a job. Thomas Souček, listen, seemed like a nice guy, and he signed a new contract last season, which I was not happy about. But cool, good for you. He needs to go. He needs to go. Ben Johnson, I don't care whether he leaves or not. I couldn't care less. Angelo Bonner's legs are gone. Cresswell's been here too long. Danny Ings, it just shouldn't have been a transfer in the first place. Like, if we're being deadly serious, Danny Ings should have never been a transfer in the first place. And that's my opinion on like the West Ham squad as a tier list. That's my opinion. Do you know what? I was going to do another tier list as well, but I don't know whether it's on here. But let me know what kind of tier list. If you want me to do a tier list, put in the comments and all that. But under Lopetegui, it's going to be interesting to see who survives and who doesn't. Because what is also interesting is that he's taken a role of a head coach, not manager, head coach that is specifically coaching on the training pitch and all of that, trying to get the philosophy up. And with Moyes being a manager, and him being a guy who wants to be involved in everything. And Ferdinand said it when he was at Man United, but in terms of transfers as well, he wants to be involved in everything. So the thing is with that, Lopetegui is working with Steidon rather than Moyes and Steidon debating, can you have this player, can I have that player and all that. It's a bit different. And that's what's probably better about it, is the fact that that's the model that most teams are going with, and where we've set ourselves probably 10 years behind in terms of that sort of model. But now we're finally going with it in 2024, where we're going with the director of football being a key part of this whole model. You know, like director of football is actually Mark Noble, but director of football is pretty much the same thing as technical director. It's just the fact that Steidon is more on transfers and scouts, and Noble was also there with the whole of footballing decisions, including the academy as well. So they're kind of working together, and it's good that they're working in the same vision as well. So obviously Noble probably had quite a bit of a say in starting coming here. And that's the good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's the fact that everyone's on the same page. It's a good thing. Um, doesn't mean I'm excited. Doesn't mean I'm excited. I'll be honest with you. For anyone that's new here, I'm naturally a pessimist anyway. Like just in football, I'm naturally a pessimist. The only time I was really, really positive was probably 2022 or 2021 season, that season, because I was very confident of from what I saw in the previous season. And also with the Conference League. With the Conference League, I was very confident and we'd win it. But when it came down to it, I couldn't believe my eyes that Bowen scored in that last minute. And we'll do a special stream on a year anniversary. Don't get me wrong, we'll do a special stream on a year anniversary of that trophy. Because trophies don't come around like that very often. However, if we're talking about this season, I'm naturally a pessimist. So I'm not that excited. I'm not very excited when it comes to West Ham in general. I don't know where we're going to go. I don't think it's the right appointment. I think I haven't seen enough of Lopetegui to know that he's going to include youngsters, which I think is key now because we have the right setup for it. I'm not a guy who's like, oh, every youngster going, oh, it's such a shame and all that, because some youngsters aren't good enough. Like when Aji Elise left for Sunderland, he was too raw. I watched him at the Ipswich preseason game. I was there. I was there at Portman Road. I think it's Portman Road. I can't remember their stadium name. I was there, and I watched Aji Elise, and he was too raw. Jamal Baptiste I had confidence in, but he had a certain sort of condition that kept him out, and he had to run down his contract. And he's now at Manchester City. That's how good Jamal Baptiste is, and he'll have a good career in football. I guarantee Jamal Baptiste will be good in football. Genuinely, he'll have a good career. However, with someone like George Urphy at the club, Lewis Orford, Callum Marshall, Mubama is probably going. Who else is there? Ollie Scholes. Maybe we might not have to spend that much money anyway because of the youngsters we might blend in whether they're ready or not. And it's very important that I think someone like a Freddie Potts should be included at least in a squad. Flynn Downs should be given a chance in the squad. Now, we did the tier list of them people, but we forgot about the players out on loan. Let's say Tilo Kehres might not go on a permanent to Monaco. He might not want to stay at West Ham in general, but either he's a guy that we sell for money or he should be included in the squad as at least as a right-back option. But even with Kehrer there, for me, we still need a right-back. Kyle Walker-Peters, apparently, if Southampton don't get promoted, Kyle Walker-Peters will be up for sale. That's someone we should be going in for. That's someone as a homegrown option. If we're struggling with homegrown options, that's someone who's definitely good enough to play right-back or left-back. I don't know why we didn't go in for him in the first place, but then again, we had Kehrer, Sufa, and Johnson, and Cresswell at left-back. That was unfortunately what we had at full-back. And Moyes was not ruthless enough within his options and had too much loyalty to the players that he's already trusted throughout the years. Now, with someone like Ben Rama, I'm going to assume that he's going. I don't really want to see him as an option in the next season. We need to move past that. As much as I've wanted Ben Rama to work, and as you can see, I've got the light blue shirt here. Ben Rama's on the back of that shirt because I believed in Ben Rama that much. And Paquetá is unfortunately on the back of that shirt on a cup final shirt, and I'm going to look like a real dickhead once he leaves. But luckily, I don't have the name on the back of this shirt or the Dagenham Motors shirt. So at least I can wear those with pride. However, with the rest of that squad, I don't think Casey is probably ready for the first team. It's funny enough, you literally just put that there. You said joke about the Emerson thing. Kalen Casey could become good. Do you know what it is with Casey as well? Like he needs protein. He needs to go to the gym, deadlifts, do something, bro. Do some arm curls because he's fucking huge, but he looks a bit skinny. That's my thing with Casey. He seems good on the ball, and I think out all the youngsters in the under-18s, he's probably maybe bottom of the list. Him and Mason Terry in goal with who could make it next. Him and Ryan Batcham maybe as well. However, Lewis Orford in midfield, George Urphy in midfield. Oh, who's the other guy in midfield? Lewis Orford, George Urphy. I can't remember the other guy. My mind's gone blank. But Marshall, Mubama, Gideon Kadoa, Ollie Scholes, definitely can make it. Ollie Scholes encourages me it's encouraging to see a lot. And if he's not someone that can play a left back right now, he can also play on the wing, would also play midfield, could also play in centre back. I would like to see all these guys make it, but we'll see who is good enough. I think Callum Marshall can play across the front three. So can Mubama. So can Godoa. Mubama's probably going because of the whole contract situation, which is a shame. But maybe he's one of those youngsters that maybe could only play to a certain level that maybe we might miss out on. Maybe we severely regret by not giving him a new contract. But in my opinion, we should have given him a new contract because he was promised to make more minutes than he did this season. And the problem is with some of these people that also want youngsters in is that they don't give them a chance. As soon as Mubama gets on the pitch, he has a couple bad touches. Oh, he's shit. He's not good enough. This is the reason why Moyes was like, he's not good enough. Well, here's the thing. Now, we know Mubama's a striker. The problem is with West Ham is that, especially with David Moyes, and there's been a West Ham curse anyway of the number 9 position, but under David Moyes, there's only a certain type of number 9 that can fit his system. So someone like a Mikel Antonio who's a brute, who's a bully, who runs the channels, spreads the other team's centre back out, pause, and allows the other attackers to hopefully run in the box, even though we don't even do that anymore. But Mubama's not like that. Mubama is someone that wants to run in behind. And we never played to his strengths either. So that's why Scamacca didn't succeed here. And speaking of Gianluca Scamacca, he's made it to the Europa League final with Atalanta. Now, I'm sure some of you watched the Europa League yesterday. Bayer Leverkusen somehow did it again. Also, Atalanta made it. Now, apparently only this season, only Cole Palmer and Harry Kane have scored more goals than Gianluca Scamacca in the last 2 months. Obviously, stats don't mean everything, though. That's what I will say. And he also scored 2 at Anfield as well. But not good enough for West Ham. Of course he wasn't. Because everyone that leaves West Ham somehow manages to do better. They somehow manage to do better than what they did at West Ham. And you're going to see that with Paquetá as well. It was like, oh, Paquetá doesn't want to be here. Paquetá's not good enough. Paquetá turned his head. Yeah, I wonder why he turned his head. I wonder why. Like, it's not just Manchester City. It's the fact that we've completely managed the whole fact that he has this much ability and we haven't managed to get the best out of him. Once again, like every other transfer. Oh, fucking hell. Where do we start? What position do you need to improve? Right back, centre back. We need a left back competition for Emerson. Number 6 position should be fine if Flynn Downs is there. Because Edson Alvarez and Flynn Downs will be the option. And number 8 option needs to be improved because Souček isn't good enough. And Ward-Prowse will be the only number 8 option. My problem is that that's my other thing as well. I will be happy if there's more ruthlessness at this club. If there's a chance for us to move on players that are not good enough. So someone like a Souček and a Soufal, they need to go. They need to leave. Leave. My problem is I think Soufal's going to leave on a free. Hopefully we get another right back in anyway. We need a starting right back. We need a starting number 8. Number 10 position, Kudus needs competition. Kudus will probably be the number 10 next year, but I want to mean number 10. A number 10 can pretty much play 3 midfield. So Kudus will probably play in the central of a 4-3-3. I don't want to see Kudus on the right bone up front. I don't want to see that ever again. I also don't want to see a midfield with Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Souček ever again. I don't want to see that again either. Left wing, because Corde's the only left winger. And we made that mistake in January where we sold Fornals and Benrahma. As much as I wanted them gone, we needed replacements in as well. We were linked to Ibrahim Osman, who's going to Brighton. We missed out on him. And we were linked to a Jota from the Saudi League. We didn't get him either because of wages. So we wasted our time, pretty much. And striker, which we still haven't replaced probably ever. We haven't got a good striker pretty much ever. I will do that. Would be another video in the summer. I'll be doing the video on when it comes to strikers. As soon as we're linked to a striker, you'll get a video on West Ham's number 9 curse. The reason why I'm going to do a video on that is because in the summer it's very hard to make content outside of transfer news, and that's going to be a video that I'll make because nothing's going on. I'll make a general video about West Ham. Same way, in the next week or 2, you're going to get a video essay on David Moyes' reign at West Ham. So either midweek next week or after the Manchester City game next week, you're going to get a video on David Moyes' whole reign at West Ham and why it was successful and why it was a failure in the past couple of seasons. You also get that video as well, so watch out for that. It's hard to attract players when you are out of Europe. The good thing about that is the fact that we can still sell players a dream, even though we can exaggerate a dream to a lot of Premier League players that are in Europe and they want to move to the Premier League because players still want to move to the Premier League and move to London. And I think London Premier League team, I'm there. I can't move to Chelsea or Arsenal, so I'm going to move to West Ham. We could be that extra option. Um, and that's the truth. Like teams will, even teams like Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest will in for Yusuf Fafana in January. Like this is how ridiculous the Prem has got because of the amount of money that is in it. Even though for some reason the Prem's quality has been so far low, despite the fact that the Premier League's got so much money. I don't know why, but a lot of the Premier League teams have failed with their transfers. As of recent, like Everton could go for big players, even though they're in a not a great position in general at their club. Like Everton could go for great players. Like next season, Leicester are going to be in the Premier League, and I think even Leicester can attract players because it's Leicester. Leicester, be like, oh, that's the team that won the Premier League. That's the team that's got a lot of money. That's the team that's finished in Europe a few times. Like I still think we're going to attract players, and because players have like Lopetegui might actually be an attractive option for a player. Maybe not in that sense. I don't know whether they want to shag him, but my thing is the fact that because Lopetegui has a great CV, um, they might want to play for a guy who's formerly managed Sevilla and Real Madrid, two big clubs, Real Madrid being the biggest. And that is also a thing. When you see who's managing the club, they might want to play for Lopetegui. Here's my other negative as well with Lopetegui. My other negative with Julian Lopetegui is the fact that with the whole Wolves situation, with the whole fact that we've just seen for the Gary O'Neill thing, that they're going to have to sell to buy once again. But here's the thing with Lopetegui. Will he throw his toys out the pram at West Ham? Because he seems to end on a sour note at quite a few. Well, not quite a few. I don't know about Porto, but the Spain national team, obviously, because he wanted to get the Real Madrid job, obviously he wasn't good enough for Real Madrid. And with the Wolves situation, he wanted to spend money, and he didn't think the squad was good enough, even though Gary O'Neill has clearly got the best out of the squad. So if he doesn't think that squad's good enough, then he's going to need to work with money. He wanted money, and it looks like we're going to have to spend a lot of money this season. I will do another stream with a special guest talking about why West Ham need to rebuild. Otherwise, they could be in a very sour situation because, let me get this up as well. Hold on, let me get a tab up quickly. I'm going to show you guys something. Yeah, it's the Premier League table, but it will explain my point. Put it that way. So if you look at this season, yeah, let me show my screen. Give me a sec. Okay, so let's look at the table now. We're eighth. But if you look at in general, let's say Arsenal and Manchester City are pretty much going to be the top two next season as well. I think we all know that. Liverpool, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with Liverpool because of Arne Slot, new manager, new voice. That doesn't really work after having a long-term manager. Aston Villa, I think they'll have another good season and they'll want to invest. I don't know what their FFP situation is like, but I'm sure they'll find a way. I think Tottenham will have a good season because it's their second season with their manager. Well, they'll have a good season if they back their manager. If they don't back their manager, they're fucked. Newcastle, I think they'll have a better season, a more consistent season than what they're having this year. They've had an upturn in form, like they've literally won 4 of their last 5. But at one point they were talking about Eddie Howe's future and when they will leave. If you remember when I did the stream with Strasbourg, Steve, he was talking about Eddie Howe. I was talking about Eddie Howe as well. But ever since we bottled the game to them, they've had an upturn in form. They've been good ever since then. Chelsea, they will surely have a better season than 7th than next year, even if it is with Pochettino. Even though part of me thinks Pochettino will stay. Man United, they'll probably have a shit season. I think Man United will have a shit season next season. Then you come to us, but then below us, you got Bournemouth. Yeah, I can see, George. We are 9th. Yes, we are 9th. If you don't improve, you could fall to 13th or 14th. This is my point coming up. Bournemouth are currently ambitious with their new manager, Iraola, and has rightly been nominated for manager of the season. Iraola obviously had money to spend last season. He might have a bit of money to spend this season. Maybe Solanke will go. I actually don't think Solanke will go, just because I don't think many clubs will be in for him. Would I take Solanke at West Ham? Yes, I would. I would take Solanke at West Ham. But I don't think he'd want to move just because from Bournemouth to West Ham. Look at this; it's a bit of a sideways step. That's the only type of players that I don't think will attract, because you can't really be buying players in the league that are teams around you in the table because you're not in Europe anymore. Brighton, fuck knows what's going to happen with this club, because De Zerbi now wants to stay because all the other clubs have chosen someone else. Because Bayern, I don't know who Bayern are going to get, but Bayern don't want him. I don't know who Man United are going to get, but they're not really linked towards De Zerbi either. Wolves, we'll see what Gary O'Neill can do. Fulham, you never know. Fuck knows. Fulham are up and down. They'll probably finish 13th next season. Crystal Palace, again, look at that form. They're going to take that form into next season with confidence. Oliver Glasner, if he gets a bit of money, I don't think they'll lose many key players either, and I think they'll be fine. Maybe Mark Gurhey will leave, and that's it. I don't think Eze and Elise are leaving. Elise and Eze will be linked with moves, but whether they'll put the money on the table is different. Because Eze and Elise, I'm pretty sure, have years on their contract where they can demand a certain fee. And if I'm Crystal Palace, and I'm looking at the key players that we have as a Crystal Palace perspective, that I'm saying, give me this amount of money for these type of players, and I'm trying to extort teams as much as possible, because they've got valuable, key, young, homegrown players, and the stock is up there. That's how I look at it. And listen, forget these three. Forest, Brentford, and Everton, you can forget them as well. But here's my point. As you were saying earlier, Blank, current form, bottom three, and Crystal Palace look promising. But as you were saying here, if you don't improve, we can fall to 13, 14. Think about the teams I just mentioned. They'll take West Ham here, and pretty much picture them swapping with Palace, pretty much. Not direct swap, but I'm saying we could finish above here or here if all the other teams step up and we don't. But if we do rebuild, we could finish around here again, because we will have one game a week. And to be fair, there is an excuse to not show the fact that you can show us a new style of play and also try and be ambitious in the league with one game a week. You think I'm expecting Champions League? I'm not expecting Champions League football. I'm expecting a standard to be in a European battle, and a proper European battle. I don't think Man United will get Amorim. I think Amorim's going to stay. I think Man United, the manager's link with Man United right now is Tuchel and Southgate. Now, in my opinion, get Southgate in. That'll be fantastic to watch, because Man United will be a fucking shit show. But overall, that's what I think. That's what I think about the club. That's what I think in general with the new manager. That's what I think about this team, past, present, future. Like the video. Please just like the video right now, because we're about to end the stream. Because I've pretty much got everything off my chest. Make sure to leave a like. Social medias are in the description of the pre-recorded videos. Subscribe if you're new. Road to 500 subscribers at the bottom. We're 25 away from 300. And we're not that far away from 500. We're going to hit that before the end of the year. I can guarantee you that. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have been great. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.